Hello and welcome to Cremas and Coquito.
I am Napoleon.
And I'm Kristina.
So today, you're on the hot seat.
Uh-oh.
We were talking about what men want. So now let's talk about what women want.
Ooh, it's our turn. Nice.
So what would you say is the very number one thing that you think women would want?
Security.
Nice. Okay.
Everything that word encompasses, such as someone who makes us feel secure in our relationship. Mm-hmm. Someone who protects us, provides for the family.
So you put providing, protecting, all under security.
Yeah.
Like provision.
Okay.
Okay, so provision. And you put protecting under that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not think so?
I think they're separate. I think they should come together, but I think they're separate. I don't think they're
I think
the same.
security.
Security can mean a lot, but I know whenever you say security, you're talking about money.
Not just money.
Okay. So what are you talking
I think women, if they want to have a family with someone, definitely want someone who can hold the household down without them, for a bit. But I also think a man making a woman feel like she's the only one is a priority as well for women.
Okay.
Making us feel like we're secure.
Okay. What about being kind?
Kind is good. I would just say like that's just a normal human trait.
Yeah, but I know if a guy is kind to everybody, he's kind of just not a good person you want to be with, right? You want someone that's kind to you, but not kind to everybody, or you like a good guy.
I don't think we really want good guys in the sense that you're talking about him. Like, we don't want someone that's super friendly to every single person they meet.
Okay.
Every single woman they meet and treat us the same exact way. But we want a kind person as a good person at heart. Yeah. With values and morals and respects people. But we definitely don't want to just be treated like everyone else in the streets. And I think what you're referring to, a good guy just treats everyone the same.
Okay. So if someone's parents raise them to be someone that respects all people, and that's how they just treat all people, because those are good guys, right? Is that a bad trait?
Not at all.
Okay, so how would you tell those guys?
Well, you do want someone who respects all people and is a good person.
Okay.
At heart, But we don't want to, let's say every single relationship you've been in, you just feel like, oh, this is the right person for me. We don't want that. Okay. We want to know that we made you feel something different. And I think a lot of women want to tame a beast as well.
Okay. So
and be like, oh, we're the only ones who can tame this specific person.
So what I heard from that, right, is you don't want a guy who just doesn't pick women, but just anybody who picks him, he goes with, right?
Exactly.
You want someone who is able to turn some people down as well as pick the ones that he deems worthy. Okay. That's what I heard. That's what you meant?
Yeah, basically.
What about a patient guy? Do you think you want a patient guy?
For sure. I think women need a patient person because sometimes we're a lot. I know I am.
Sometimes you're...
Yeah, I'm going to say sometimes.
Okay.
Not most of the time. Because it's also worth it. But sometimes we can demand a lot, want a lot, expect a lot. So a person that is patient and understanding and knows how to communicate.
Sounds like someone who's a problem solver.
Yeah.
Someone who probably would get walked all over.
No, that's where you talk about a good guy. We don't want someone that we can walk all over either. We'll just take advantage of that person. That person is good for a short term, but we definitely wouldn't see a future with a man we could walk all over. That means everyone outside could walk all over you too. How are you going to protect me if you can be walked all over?
And so tell me, how can a woman be heard but still let a man be a man?
Simple. You can you can listen and then state your opinions and lead.
Okay.
A man can still lead.
A woman can state her opinion.
You can listen and offer a different opinion in a respectful way. And you can still lead for sure. Lead
meaning who? The woman?
The man.
Okay, the man. Okay.
I think women want leaders. I think all women want leaders, even if they say they don't mind leading.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point in a relationship, you might not care about leading in the beginning, but I think in a certain point of relationship, you would feel resentment towards a person because you're holding all the weight on your shoulders as a woman.
So would you say that is not a woman's role? You don't believe that women should be shouldering that kind of load? That role should be on the man naturally?
Yeah, because we have so many other things. Don't get me wrong. If women are shouldering the responsibility of the workforce and household, because a lot of men still require or expect women to shoulder both.
Correct.
Then that is a horrible expectation, false expectation.
For a man to have.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a woman would begin to resent the man because he's not being the leader. She has to be the leader and do everything else at home.
And so even in modern times where we know that one income can support a household and move you forward as well too, right? Do you still hold that value as a woman as strongly, or do you say no? I want a man to just provide 100%.
No, I would help you, but I want you to be the leader.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that role on top of leading financially, on top of leading in the household and leading with children and leading with meal prep and leading with showering the kid. If I'm taking that leadership in the workforce, then you definitely have to do a lot more in the house.
I agree. And
I think a woman would represent that, because I don't think she'll be able to be in her full feminine.
I agree. So being a sole provider puts a woman in her full feminine, you believe?
I think so. A lot more than
sharing the bills.
Sharing the
load.
Not just sharing the load, but a lot more than a woman taking the lead role.
A woman taking the lead role. Okay.
I
Masculine.
think high stressful jobs that a lot of women have today is what keeps us not in our feminine.
Okay. And there's no way for you guys to turn it off whenever you get home?
No. Is there a way when you have a bad day at work and you know, like, I got to do it again tomorrow, or I have to finish this at home. I can't just turn it off at home because I have a high stressful job. I have to bring work home. There's no way of leaving that in the office.
Not the work, the attitude.
No, because if I'm working at home, I'm still going to have the attitude that I can't relax, and everything I have to do at home is just building up as the hours pass, because I still have work. I need to finish from work, and I still have work at home.
Got it. Okay, so that's the anxiety, that's the mindset that women are in, that are in the workforce and have a husband or a man and children that they have to. Okay. So that's the level of understanding that we have to have for both roles. And we have to know that both roles are important.
And I think that's why a lot of women rather be single moms.
Yikes.
I don't think it's as hard when you have a husband that you actually have to Kids don't expect much. Kids
will take whatever it is that you give them.
Yeah, you can make them peanut butter jelly. I can't feed my husband a peanut butter jelly sandwich for dinner. So
Got it.
I could feed myself that.
Yeah.
My kids, I could make them an oatmeal real quick.
Mm-hmm. But as far as
my husband, like I really have to make a meal. I have to keep my home clean. Like there's certain expectations.
Do you think that mothers and women are teaching their daughters how to be wives? Like, are they telling their daughters what men expect, at least?
I don't think so, because I don't think we are, unless you grow up in a 2-family household, I don't think that's a priority. I wasn't specifically told, oh, you have to learn how to cook because your husband's gonna want to. I just saw it. So that's how I learned. But if my dad wasn't in the house, I guess I wouldn't see
a woman
serving a man, making, a home for a man. But I think what we do place as importance in our daughter is getting an education, for sure. And I think that is still important. So we want someone who can build with us, and we want someone who can understand like who we are with our education, not be deterred by our education, and not feel, what's the word? Intimidated.
Okay.
By our education.
Yeah, I know that's how you guys always view it, but I want to keep it on women. But I don't think it's intimidation by the education. I think it's always the stature that the woman takes on after she is educated, and more of the attitude or the overall mood when it comes to men and women. Once you have achieved something that you believe is higher than what he has achieved.
Okay. I hear that.
I think, let's see, what about a friend? Do you think women long term want
a friend?
Want a friend, like a best friend?
Yeah. I guess. I think, well, what that just means is like you listen and you communicate well with me, and we go out together. We have fun together. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking you're meaning by friends. So yes, of course, we have to be friends. But me and you weren't friends when we first started dating. We just started dating because we liked how we looked. And that worked fine. Yeah,
so I know men date on looks. Mm-hmm. I know that's what always attracts men first. I don't know what you were doing.
I liked your dimple, so
I know you did. But I used to have two.
I think we definitely, even when we started dating, if we didn't start off as friends, I think we definitely have to.
We got to know each other though.
Yeah,
even if we didn't start off as friends, once we started dating each other, we really
became friends.
Yeah, more than friends. I think we started to get to know each other. I think being friends is genuinely getting to know each other, accepting things about the other person. Understanding their background, just pretty much saying that you want to be around them, that you guys, either you share something in common, or either you guys bonded over whatever we bonded over. What do you think that we bonded over? What do you think drew us together?
I don't know. I always, from the beginning, I was like, I think we're meant to be.
Yeah, but what do you think? Okay. What do you think kept us together, or what do you think drew or continued to motivate us to keep pushing early?
I guess we saw something in each other that maybe you reminded me of my dad, or I reminded you of your mom. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But we kept.
I was always looking for a nurturer.
Yeah, I was.
Right? I was always looking for a caring person, someone that listened, even though you didn't listen, but someone that listened, someone that was moldable. Definitely.
Moldable.
I believe that.
Wow, that I kind of take
You
offense
mold
to
me.
that.
I know that sounds rough whenever you say
I'm
moldable. But if a man is going to be a leader in his house, right, he needs someone that can listen, that can follow, that understands him. So I've always looked for a woman who would understand me, who would get on my program, which I always say, whatever your program is, right? But I always look for someone who I can teach.
I think I did a really good job at like trapping you a little bit.
Yes, you did.
Because I know how to play the part of a woman that a man wants. But then...
Who taught you that?
Myself. I'm a con artist.
So you haven't seen that anywhere. You just manifested that con.
That con, I guess. And then once we got married, it's like, ha!
No, I get that.
Not moldable, bitch.
No. No. I think as we grow, right? Because I know the word moldable. I see that kind of triggered you, right, when I said moldable. But a man's role is always to speak to his woman, impart knowledge in her, enlighten her, make her see things a different way, right? Because you make me see things a different way. Men were more logical. Mm-hmm. So not saying that we don't have emotions. We're not led by emotions naturally, mm-hmm. right? But there are some men that are. But as far as me, I am not led by emotion, right?
Most men aren't.
So I understand every situation very logically, and I am a very discerning man. So I understand things are what they are.
Okay.
Right? I don't put any kind of spin to it. So I believe that if I'm that way, you will always see things the way that I see things, because I see things clear. That's what I believe. So I always look for a woman who's soft. You know what I mean? And I believe you have tons of qualities that I've always told you that you don't see in yourself, but I've always seen in you. And even now, as we grow, I think those qualities like radiate.
Oh, thank you. And I would say I saw a lot of, and now that I'm older, I wouldn't do this again, but potential. In you, I also like the fact that you were rough around the edges, mm-hmm. and you didn't take any BS. And I liked that people who knew you knew exactly, like, not to play with you. I like that.
So it's very important how other people who are around you view that person, right? And that's very important for someone who wants to pick a man for a long time. Yeah,
it showed like you're strong. And I felt protected by you because I felt I was taming the beast.
So even though I'm not 6'2" or 6'5", like how do you see someone can protect you? Even though I'm taller than you, but how would you think someone who's not 6'5" could protect you?
No, your personality and how everyone acted around you. And the fact that you didn't take any BS. Like, whatever you said is what it was going to be. Not that you were, like, mean or anything, but you could be mean to people around you, just like
I could come
in
off
the
mean.
streets.
I can come off me.
In the streets, yeah. You wouldn't, if someone's talking to you, you'd be like, I don't know you, why you're talking to me. Yeah. Like, even though that's rude, I'm like, well, damn, that's hot.
Oh, okay. I hear you. Okay, so that makes sense. But to me, if I don't know you, there's no reason for us to have any conversation. I just limit any interaction with
like
outside
you would
people.
Literally tell people things like I would say in my head, but you would say out loud.
Yeah, you need to hear that you're making me feel uncomfortable, or you're making my family feel uncomfortable, or I don't want to be here. It's that simple, but
you were true to yourself.
Correct.
Basically, you didn't do anything you didn't want to do.
I always say that no one's going to hold me hostage. Yes. That's always something that I always say.
Oh my God. Just the way you hung up the phone. That did take me back, though. If you didn't want to keep talking, bye. You wouldn't even say bye. I would say bye.
Yeah.
And you would just hang up.
Look at Look at how
where
women
that got you.
Yeah, look at that. And that got me married to a wonderful woman. But let's get back on topic, right? Do you women also want supportive men?
Yeah.
Supportive in what way?
Support my endeavor, support if I'm gonna start my own business, support if I want to go back to school, support in anything I want to try in life, that you're behind me, say, okay, sure, do it, I'm with you. And I would know if I fall or fail, you won't hold that against me. Or you'd be like, okay, you could try again, or that's okay.
Creating a safe environment where you can be
sure.
whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be, but you also still expect for me to hold down the household as far as a man. No matter what you're doing is conditional. Mine is mandatory.
Well, you're taking the supportive to a different level. Like, okay, if I want to switch my career or something.
No, you can always switch your career.
But what does you being supportive have to do with being the leader of the house?
So in your supportive role, right, you're going to support me, the leader. So what do you expect from a leader while you're in your supportive role? That's what I'm speaking of. Do you still think that your leader needs to be that person who always works, the person who still provides for the whole family, and no matter what you do?
I thought you asked, do you want a man who supports you?
Support you, yeah. And you were saying that you want to do all this stuff. So if you want to do all this stuff, under what confine? Because I would have to be someone who can hold down the household for you to be all that. Or do you think even if I can't hold down the household,
let's say we both work, and let's say I do know how to drive, but if I didn't know how to drive and I wanted to learn how to drive, that you would support me and take me driving.
So I would have to know how to drive first.
Well,
right?
Obviously.
Okay. So
Number one, also, like, I wouldn't date anyone without a car. I'm sorry.
Okay. There you go. So that's another thing. So do you think most women wouldn't date a man without a car?
Depending on what age.
Okay. So what age?
Even in high school, like.
So by the time that you're 21?
For sure.
Okay. So 21.
I'm not going to be out here taking a bus and train in heels going on a date.
That makes sense. Okay. We already talked about protector, provider. What about a disciplinarian? What do you think about that? Do you think women value that? Do you think that's a good quality in men?
I think a good quality in men is being disciplined himself. And through that, you would know he'd be a disciplinarian, because if you don't have kids, how do you know if you're a disciplinarian?
If you are someone that has discipline, you hope that that man will instill whatever he has inside his kids. Yes. That's how you know someone like that. But whenever you have kids, you grow to be a disciplinarian. And I think that's that sometimes drew a little wedge in between us because of our parenting styles. But let's not go too deep into parenting styles. So you also want someone that's sensitive, correct?
Sensitive to my feelings and their own, but not sensitive in the fact that you're sensitive to every single person's feelings. And we don't want someone who's crying every day for a different reason.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. So that makes sense.
You can be sensitive.
You want a man.
You can cry when you need to cry, but like when you say sensitive, I just picture a man.
Do you think men should cry before
every single day?
Do you think men should cry before they get married to that woman, or do you think that they can cry once that woman makes them feel safe? Like, what do you think that man can show that level of
before you
vulnerability?
get married, your woman should make you feel safe, and that's the reason you would want to marry a woman.
But do you think he should cry before?
I don't think a woman would be taken back if they're not married by a man who did cry or cried for her. Yeah,
but men don't expose stuff like that about themselves very openly like that, right? We're not in that space, and I don't think men should be in that space, right? And I think if you're crying or if you're releasing those vulnerable parts of yourself, that should be for your wife, right?
But what if you're dating someone and that person made you feel a certain way and you feel you could cry in front of them because something happened? I think it's totally fine. Women like to see that you are human too.
I know you guys like to see that. I'm not arguing.
I think we respect that. And I think a man
I
can
don't
feel safe doing that.
Yes, I believe men can feel safe doing that around women. I believe you guys expect that, right? But I don't believe that men should be crying around women and then later on moving to a different woman, crying to that woman as well, then moving on to a different woman. I think that should be reserved for your wife.
Well, I could say the same thing for women.
Yes.
It's just not looked down upon if we do it because we already looked at as sensitive people. But
for men,
I'm not one to cry in front of people, period.
Exactly. So to me, I think that's also something that was really, really, really good about you. And you're very feminine and you're not someone that cries. Right. So I think I will say it's super annoying to have a woman that cries all the time.
Have you ever had a girlfriend that cried all the time?
I've had
I don't know women who cry all the time.
Not all the time, but to me,
or a lot.
What is a lot? What is a lot to you? Let's define a lot.
For anytime you guys have an argument.
No, that's cry. Okay. So that's what you're thinking about is a lot. To me, in a relationship, let's say if it lasts 2 to 3 years, right? I think a lot of crying is 5 or above.
Oh my God.
In the span of 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
That's what I believe a lot is. So me and you have 2 different definitions of what a lot is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
I wouldn't say 5 times in 2 years is a lot. In 24 months, 5 times.
You haven't, I don't think you have cried even 5 times in totality around me.
Around you, yeah.
Yeah.
But I probably cry like every day after having a kid.
Oh, come on. But around me though. I don't think you're that kind of woman that would do that around me. Not saying that I don't create that space where you can, nor that I would at this stage
hold it against me.
Hold it against you, mind it, or would it change anything? But you're just not that woman. You want a man to be open-minded, right?
Yeah.
And
as in what?
Open-minded, period. That's a good skill to have.
We don't want a man with a narrow mindset.
No, meaning open-minded to you. Open-minded to you. So even if you say something that we don't agree with, like you want us to be like, okay, just listen to you and then still do what we want to do. Is that open-minded or is it open-minded, you get what you want?
Both. I think you listening and taking the time to care about what I'm saying could be open-minded, but also sometimes giving in.
And so a situation, also open-minded means
I think an open-minded person does give in sometimes.
Okay.
I think a narrow-minded person is always like, nope, still gonna be my way. Nope, I heard what you said, but it's still gonna be my way.
But what if that way is the best way
all the time? I still think in a relationship there's give and take.
Okay. So no one can be right. No one can be right 100%.
I wouldn't want, at that point, I would feel like, damn, what is the point of me even talking if you're always going to go your way?
Yep. So what about you want someone to be intellectually stimulating?
For sure.
Okay.
I think you need to be an intellectual person.
But not educated.
Do
you want your man to be educated?
I don't think if he has a good paying job, then it wouldn't matter.
So to you, it's the outcome. It is not.
Yeah,
it is not.
It is
school.
The drive. Hell no.
Okay.
And you could see it today. It's everywhere. Most people who didn't even go to college make more than people who went to college. It's the drive. It's the hands-on experience you have. It's the kind of job you do. Yeah, the education doesn't make the person. But
you want them to be intellectually.
Yeah, you have to be an intellectual person in order to move the family forward, to be a leader.
So you want
a leader
you want them to seek knowledge, and knowledge is whatever it is that moves the family forward.
Yes.
Not specific to education, because that's one way.
No, you don't have to go to school and get a degree to be a leader.
Or to be an intellectual.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Understood, and I agree. You want someone you want loyal companionship.
Of course. Those are things that will lead to a marriage. Because if you're not loyal we can't even get past the first month.
Okay, so define loyal.
Loyal, I would say, number one is you're committed to me and only me. You're committed to our relationship. And if you believe me instead of your outside network, and you choose me instead of your outside network.
So prioritizing you, making you number one, making you feel heard, making you feel understood, and the number of times that I choose you, not all the times that I choose you because I have to make my own choices. I have to make the best decision. Correct? Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be chosen every time, but you want to be made a priority. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's self-explanatory.
That is not self-explanatory. But
person,
you gotta break it down to people nowadays. I used to think it was self-explanatory, but now I see it's not.
Don't make me look like an idiot, basically.
Mm-hmm. So not making you look like an idiot is what? What does that mean? Like,
don't talk bad about me to your friends when I'm not there.
Give you a chance to defend yourself. So talk about you whenever you are there. That's what you're saying. Or
show, like, you know how some guys in front of their friends, they put up this front, like, oh, she's just another girl. Whatever.
You don't want to feel like that.
That's not loyalty because you're switching it up. Don't switch up.
Okay. So if I'm lovey-dovey with you and I'm around my friends and we're not lovey-dovey or anything, you want me to continue being lovey-dovey with you in that environment?
Oh, we don't have to do PBA.
Mm-hmm. But so PDA, whatever it is, but
I'm thinking about police.
We don't have to do public display of affection, right?
Yeah, but there's a certain way you could still hold my hand when you could still act like you care.
Holding hands is PDA. So what would be your advice for women that go into an environment where they don't show PDA, right? What would you tell those women? What would that expectation be?
Would just say, show us that we don't have to have public display of affection or even hold my hand. Just don't make me feel invisible in front of your people.
Okay. That's understandable. So one thing that I want to highlight as well too is women want men who are stallions in the bed, like how we always say, like a porn star. they want to be satisfied. That is something that every woman wants to be.
I think women do want to be satisfied, but the little ones up. But I don't think it's hard to satisfy women. I think more so men look for like porn stars in the bed. You've never heard that?
No, you said more so men?
Yeah, I think men are more into, she needs to be a porn star in the bed. She needs to do this. I think when women talk about men, hardly ever do I hear anything about satisfaction in the bedroom. I think more so lately than before.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Lately.
But I still don't think it's as a high priority. High on our priority list. I think you should be able to satisfy your mate, but I don't think women are like, if he's not this, if he's not that.
I believe people are mixing a whole lot more, and that's one of the major reasons why people are having a hard time settling down with anybody. That's one of the major reasons, right?
Mixing what?
Mixing, having sex with everybody. Mixing. Oh, okay. So there's a lot more mixing. There's a lot more having sex, right? So that makes it harder for you to pick. I've always said the more people you have sex with, it doesn't make the choice any easier. And people think that it makes it easier, right? So dating, that's why to me, dating is pointless. For you to go around having sex with many different people and saying, I want to pick this one person. No, because...
But if you don't date, how would you know who your mate is or who you want to choose? You really think you could get to know a person in 3 months?
When you say get to know somebody, right, you always say that you can put your representative on before, and then whenever you get locked down, you're a different person. So that in itself
true, but
that in itself says that it was pointless.
It's not I'm not a whole different person.
No, I know.
You over exaggerate the things or you would take things when you're dating, you would accept things more quickly than when you get married.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're trying to show the best of you to the person. But the core values are still there.
So you're saying if you were cooking before and now whenever we get married and you're not cooking,
that's not
or
that,
or let's say we were going out a whole bunch in the beginning. We were going out to many different places. I was taking you here. Is that expectation for it to be like that the whole entire relationship? The majority of relationship?
Maybe if we were going out 3 times a week, maybe now it's down to 1 time a week or 1 time every 2 weeks, because now we also have different expectations, bills to pay together, whereas before we weren't paying anything. We were in our parents' homes.
So responsibilities change, expectations have to change with the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we were speaking to the stallion question.
So you don't believe that women now want a man who can satisfy them because they've had many options?
I think that yes, it is one of the things that now women can look for, but I don't think it's the most important still, because if a woman has dated around and she understands the qualities that this person has, I think a woman is more likely to put that to the back burner to have a good life with a man than a man would be. Man would say, oh, how can I even marry this person without knowing how sex is with them?
Exactly, because men are physical creatures.
Yeah, but I think women are now more physical, but I still think it's way less than men. I still don't think that it's to the same length as men would go.
Okay. So do you have anything more to add to what a woman wants, or is this it? Do you think that's
we want to be satisfied in our relationship? Like, man, just make us happy.
Just
Stop
read
making
our
us work
mind.
so hard.
Just read our mind.
Not only that, but why we gotta say everything? Like, come on, just know us.
Just know us, but you have to get to know us as well, so we can get to know you.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so and in the end, we don't know you guys. You don't know us enough, but we need to get to know each other so that we can live. So that we can actually live for the long term.
Yeah. And coexist.
And do what's most important, which is building family, building everything. You know what I mean? Because I always say you guys are the great multipliers.
All right.
So on that note, if you have nothing else to say, I will tell everybody to subscribe to our channel, like it.
Comment, share,
engage. We have merch now that we have in the description. So if you want to purchase, if you want to support, what is this?
Supportive, inspirational, and submissive.
Ooh, triggering word.
The triggering word, but we should bring that word back. Because as we discussed before, submissive was very triggered by that word, but really diving into what submission means, and it's not slavery. We're still partners with our man.
We can do a whole episode on that, because submission is big. It will always be big.
But a lot of women do say they submit, and I think a lot of women are going back to not feeling like submitting is horrible or horrendous thing in a marriage.
And get your man shirts. Man is motivated, ambitious, and necessary. So we got him. Yeah, we got him in hoodies. We got him in shirts. So the link will be in the description.
Check it out.
And on that,
bye.
Peace.